Welcome back to another Whatever Wednesday. Today we're going to talk about the unsung heroes in our routines. I would love to hear from you. What are the things that you use every day that maybe you wouldn't even think to tell like your best friend about? They're things that are so integral to whatever you're doing, but they just don't get any love because they're not the, sexy things. Well, I've got like 6 or 7 things and they're all super inexpensive. They're nothing that costs me a lot of money, but they are so important. They're so valuable to me. So I want to get right into it, and I would love to hear what your like non-negotiable unsung heroes are in your routine. I know everybody has them, and they're just the things that we just don't ever think to talk about. So I'm going to start with the Sonia Kashuk sponge. This has been in my life for years and years. It has kind of a very interesting look to it. It's got that marbleized look. But beyond that, first of all, it's so giant that it's efficient. You get done so fast. But also I feel like because it's so big, it actually just really provides this very even canvas when you're putting on, makeup, if you're putting on a tinted moisturizer, or if you're putting on a foundation, or even if you're putting on like cream blushes. I can put this into a cream blush and then put it on. And I feel like it just spreads everything out really beautifully and really evenly because of the size of the sponge. It is literally the best thing ever. Now, to go along with this sponge, something else that is absolutely always, and for years and years, always in my kit, if you will, is the solid cleanser from Beauty Blender. Now, I have tried other cleansers for beauty blenders and also for brushes, because this works for my brushes, it works for my sponges, everything. I've tried other cleansers like liquid cleansers, even the liquid cleanser from Beauty Blender, and I just don't think they work as well. I really don't. I love having a solid little, take that thing out, I always keep that. I love having a solid little pan of soap or cake of soap. I get that a little bit wet. Of course, I get the sponge wet and I sit there and I work it in, and then I rinse it and squeeze it and rinse it and squeeze it until it rinses clean and no makeup comes out in the sink or anything like that. So this is one of those things, I'm not kidding. I'm never without this. I use this to clean my brushes, and what I do, of course, with the brushes is I actually do use the little silicone thing. So I put the brush in there and then I get it wet and I get the soap going and all that stuff, and then I scrub it on the little doodad that they include in here. So that's actually not just a cute little piece. That actually has a purpose, and I love it. It works so well for cleaning brushes also, and everything just gets really, really clean. Cleaner than if I use baby shampoo or anything else. So this is huge, huge. And I have to say that if you don't clean your sponges and your brushes and stuff like that, you definitely are inviting issues with your skin. So it's not really just about makeup. It's actually about hygiene and about keeping your skin in good shape. It's super important to do that. So this is another unsung hero that is used all the time, almost daily, I would say, because I clean my sponge. It's so easy, and it's actually kind of satisfying because it's just kind of fun to watch it get all clean. And then it's brand spanking new. I just used it a minute ago, so it's not clean right now, but it's brand spanking new basically every time I want to use it because I clean it right before use. It's so easy, and I know that I'm not putting a dirty, gross sponge on my skin. So that is another huge, huge unsung hero. Okay, another one is this particular little tiny brush from BK Beauty. Now, this one has gotten more and more and more integral to my makeup routine over the last, 6 months, as I've tried to kind of soften my makeup. I have backed off on doing a lot of dark browns on my mobile lid. I've really wanted to kind of like deepen the lash line so that my lashes look thicker at the base. I also kind of like to play around with having a little bit of a line at my lash line, but I don't want harsh lines. Every time I do that, I kind of feel like it's a little bit too harsh. Well, this is the 208 brush, and it is the tiniest brush I own. It's the tiniest brush I've ever owned or ever even seen. And I mean, if you look at it compared to my pinky, hopefully you can see that. It is so dinky, but what that means is that I can dip it into a shadow and I can literally get that little tiny brush at the very base of my lashes, so I can create that kind of density of my lashes at the lash base. I can also do the tiniest little wing with it because it is so dinky that you can actually do some precise work and you don't have to be super skilled because it's really hard to screw up with this one. If you are over 50 years old and you are not into like liquid eyeliner anymore, even pencil liners maybe feel like they're a little bit too harsh, but you just want some definition around your eyes, you might love this little brush. None of the BK Beauty's brushes are crazy expensive and the quality of them is so incredible. But more than anything, this particular design of a brush is obviously created by a makeup artist, which Lisa J is a makeup artist, obviously, because she knows that this is the kind of brush that you really just could use if you need the tiniest of detail brushes. So I love this one so much. Okay, so speaking of little tiny brushes, this is an eyebrow mascara, if you will, that I've recently discovered, and it has quickly become the eyebrow product that I've been using more than any of my other high-end products or anything like that. I was using Tom Ford forever. I used the Glossier Boy Brow. I used the Benefit Gimme Brow. I've used all of those like for years and years and years. This is the Maybelline Super Fluff. And I'm telling you, this is likely the best brow product I have used, and it is drugstore. Comes with the tiniest, well, tiny-ish. I have had a slightly tinier little brush. I think the Benefit Gimme Brow is a tiny bit smaller of a brush, but this brush is the perfect size. It is not too big. It's small enough that you can get in and do some detail work, but you're not going to get stuff all over your face. And the color selection is fantastic. The price point absolutely cannot be beat, and it gives you a little bit of brow back. I will say that I have seen so many ladies as they enter into the time of their life when their brows start to go gray and they start to also lose a little bit of the brow hair. That has happened to me, and they kind of start to disappear. And one of the best things that we can do for our faces is give ourselves our brows back. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to tint them, although if you want to tint them, I have an eyebrow tinting tutorial. You can do it at home with Just for Men. That's another unsung hero, and I have videos on that because I'm telling you, that is one of the quickest ways to level up your entire face is to give yourself a little eyebrow tint. But I digress. If you don't want to do that, this is one of those things that can make such a huge difference. I got my mom to do it for the longest time. My mom wasn't doing anything with her eyebrows. I got her to allow me to tint them probably 10 years ago, and that was the end of that. For that time on, she was like, oh, I see. You know, she was only moving in on 70 years old at the time, and probably she just never did it. And all of a sudden it was this realization how important eyebrows are on our face. They literally frame our face. All that to say, you do not have to spend $40 or $50 on an eyebrow product. You really, really don't. There are so many good options at the drugstore. Let me know if you've used this Super Fluff or if you have another one from the drugstore that you really, really like. I would love any recommendations. This is actually probably one of the first ones I've really loved from the drugstore that I've tried. I was kind of on a kick of, you know, all the ones that I mentioned before, but this one has knocked them all off of their pedestal, and it is the Maybelline Super Fluff. And I think I have the color taupe. This next one's going to be a little controversial. I already know, but I'm going to share it anyway because I've shared this for years and I'm telling you it is a game changer. And I'm so over those words, but it is. It really is. It's the Lumify Eye Drops. Now, I'm going to preface this with, if you are concerned about using eye drops, please talk to your eye doctor and you need to assess if this is something that might work for you. It does work for me. I do not use them every day. I don't even use them several times a week. I probably use them maybe once or twice a week. I often will use them before I film because they literally brighten my eyes back to what my eyes looked like when I was younger. As I have gotten older, I've just noticed that my eyes have gotten slightly more kind of cloudy looking over time. They aren't as bright and white. They aren't as sparkly as they were, you know, 20 years ago or something like that. Well, Lumify tends to just really brighten up the whites of the eyes, and it literally makes your eyeballs look more youthful. Now, that's not to say that some people just can't use this type of thing. Some people won't use this type of thing because they don't think eye drops are a good idea. Some people are worried about rebound redness. All of those things are important concerns. This one doesn't do any of that to me, but I also don't overuse it. I tend to use it infrequently, and just when I really want to pop my eyes. I used it today and I love it. I will never be without Lumify. Now, they did just come out with a preservative-free version, and I know that there were a lot of people that mentioned that they didn't get on well with the preservative that's in here. I didn't even realize that was a thing. I've never had any trouble with this one, but you should definitely know that if that was something that you experienced, that they've launched a version that I think is the same. They've just changed the preservative. So that is Lumify, and I absolutely love it for bright eyes. Last thing is sort of new to me, but it has quickly become one of those things that not only do I look forward to using it, but it makes a really, really big difference in my makeup routine. And it is the One Size Powder Melt. This is glass setting spray. The whole glass skin thing is sort of silly, but setting that aside, this is a setting spray that, again, I don't necessarily use it every day. I use it usually if I apply any powder to my face, and that includes powder blush, any powder at all, I will use this. What I notice with this is that it takes that powder and turns it into a soft set luminous something. It almost looks like you applied cream makeup, but whatever it has done, it also locks it in place. So unlike cream makeup, which can sometimes move around, you've used powder, which seems to last longer, and you've locked it in with this, and it looks glowy like a cream, but it goes nowhere. It is literally like goes nowhere. It is a unicorn of a setting spray, if you ask me. Many, many, many years ago, I used a product called Model in a Bottle, and it did the same thing. Although when I sprayed that one on, way back when, it literally smelled like I was spraying like hairspray on my face. But man, it made everything look so glowy and beautiful, and it would go nowhere. And if you spray this on after you've put on, if you use powder eyeshadow, if you spray this on after you've done your powder blush, your powder eyeshadow, and then you use this, you will be shocked at how it transforms that powder into something that looks a lot better on dry skin, on older skin, etc., but also how it goes nowhere all day long. It just stays in place, looking glowy and beautiful. So this is the One Size Powder Melt Setting Spray. Truly addicted to this now, and it's something that, I don't know, I just never even think to mention because it's not really, like, it's not a color cosmetic or anything like that, but it is absolutely integral in my makeup routine now, especially if I use powder. Even when I don't use powder, I will still spray this on the perimeter of my face because I find that it gives this nice glow and it sets the makeup that I did wear, whether it's liquid, cream, whatever. But it's especially good when you use powder, and if you are over 50 years old and powder tends to make you look a little dry, but you still like the powder stuff, this is so good. Okay, you guys, so those are all of my randoms. Let me know down below. I'd really love to know, what are your really important things? I mean, obviously we've got all kinds of normal things like Q-tips and this and that, you know, that kind of thing. But what are those things that you tend to use on a relatively regular basis that you just never think to share with other people, but are so important to you? I'd love to hear these things. I would really love to, because I think those are the details that make all the difference in our routines that we don't talk about necessarily because they just aren't very sexy. I hope that you guys are having the most wonderful Wednesday. Thanks again for tuning in on this Whatever Wednesday. I will see you on Saturday with another skincare video, and I hope you take care.